Next is the third application of the Gauss's theorem. We did for the infinitely long straight wire, first application, then infinite plane sheet, second application, and let us come to the uniformly charged spherical cell. This is the third and final application which is there in your syllabus. Uniformly charged, uniformly charged spherical cell. Spherical cell. Cell means the inside should be empty. So you take a cell like this, hollow spherical body, and obviously the charges will be distributed on the surface of the cell. Uniform distribution, and if the radius of the cell C, let the radius be R, center at O, then for such a cell, let us try to write the charge density. Charge density will be total charge over this surface divided by area of the spherical surface. What is the area of the spherical surface? Surface area का ये formula का 4 pi r square. This is the surface area of a sphere. So this will be sigma by 4 pi r square. So if you want to find this q from here, this will be 4 pi r square into sigma. So this will be the first step. Then there are three possibilities here to measure the electric field by using this Gauss theorem. You can measure the electric field somewhere outside the surface, inside the surface, or just on the surface. These are the three possibilities. Let me remind you again. You can measure the electric field either outside the surface, inside the surface, or on the surface. These are the three possibilities. Unlike the previous two derivations, but here in this case you will have three cases. In the previous ones you have one case available, but here you will have just three conditions. So let us go with the first condition. Let us take the point of measurement to be outside the cell. Let us take the point P to be outside, and let the distance of the point P from the center be r, small r. Then under this case, what will be the situation? Small r will be greater than capital R. This shows that the point P lies outside the cell. Then this is the condition. When small r is greater than capital R, the point P will be outside the cell. Then in order to apply the Gauss theorem, we usually draw a Gaussian surface. Then let us take the small area, then area vector, ds vector, and electric field at this point will be in the same direction, E vector. Alright, then let us apply Gauss theorem. Then the second step, by Gauss theorem, kailani close integration E vector dot ds vector, this is equal to q by epsilon naught. This is the integral form of Gauss's theorem. Then let us expand the dot product now. E ds cos 0, and instead of q you can let the q be remain there. Smile from the cos 0 di kya no obviously 1 ni aduna si lagthokrasu yare. Cos 0 is obviously 1. Okay, E ds cos 0, y cos 0 because E and ds are in the same direction. In the next step also you can take the integration, this E outside the integration symbol you want. So this will be the third step. Then what should be the integration of ds? ds haibasi nang kay sige Gaussian surface sige mathak chida leba apikpa area amani loi tagadi ds mayam loin puchiladi Gaussian surface sige apunba area lo tani. Then what should be the area of the outer circle? Kaya tani 4 pi small r square tani aba. Aduna kay dore electric field E into 4 pi r square. This is equal to q by epsilon naught. There you go. Why? Because integration ds will represent the whole surface area of the outer sphere. Go. 4 pi r square. Then from this, therefore your E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q divided by r square. And this last expression looks very familiar. Equation 1 has it, in equation 2 has it. This equation 2 looks very familiar. It is very much similar to the electric field due to the point charge. Point charge q the distance r la from the electric field expression the same. What does it suggest? Machine suggests or is it ngasai sphere sigi mathachida lairiba charge mayam do pulak punsilaga center sida q haiba amakatang lairaganda asida laigado electric field duga manai hai. The result shows that the electric field due to the entire cell, spherical cell, is equal to the case when the entire charge seems to be concentrated at the center of the cell and electric field is measured at the same point. Entire charge seems to be concentrated, but it doesn't mean that machine mean charge center seem to have electric field imagi mapangal do say charge mayamsuna maya is the later kanda sida legado electric field duga magi mapangal sa mane haiba khatan yani ko. Then masina kainogi wani when the point P is outside the cell the lego gan. Then obviously let us continue the first case when the point P is outside the cell. Then using equation 1 in 2 the level q si motasi sinjalasi kya tani adidi E equal 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught square mathakdi kya tani q gi motasi sinjalo hai 4 pi r square sigma kari kang na bayai 4 pi kang na bayare. So your final expression for electric field outside the cell, and this is sigma r square divided by epsilon naught small r square. So this is equation number 3. So these two are the expressions of the electric field when the point P lies outside the cell. This is the first condition. Then what if kaligumba sige point P say lies on the surface of the. Let's imagine point P say mapanda laibagi muhta manung da lay train lower se manung da nate surface da lay train lower se. Then obviously ngasai small r duga kariga manarani capital R ga manarani tatra small r capital R ga manarani. And the second case when the point P lies on the surface of the cell the label targadi. Instead of this small r, you can replace by capital R. Even here also. Aduna, when the point P lies inside the second condition, surface labor hybrid r equal to capital R or any, then masida kay darani adu itagadi. Dagi electric field says the sindeladi si kaya tarni capital R square tarni. Aduna sidana small r ga capital R ga samana tarni ani se cancel sakrani. Ko sidana kay lemon sigma y epsilon naught kata lemon. So your electric field in the first case will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q divided by r square. Aduga amana kari tarani si katakrani ani r square cancel sakraga kaya with sigma y epsilon naught katatarani. So these are the electric fields when the point P lies on the surface of the cell, and you will find this E to be maximum on the surface. E is a maximum point. So the electric field is maximum when the point P lies on the surface of the cell. So you have done two cases. One, the point P lies outside the cell. Second, the point P lies on the surface. Let us see the case when the point P lies inside the cell. Manungda laibagi case amu khanarase. I suppose you are very clear up to the second condition. Then let us think. Let us imagine again. The point P lies not outside, not on the surface, but inside. R says about the sangani. The Gaussian surface Gaussian surface should be drawn passing through the point where you want to measure the electric field. The point P is the layer. Under this case, R the small r capital R is capital R small r should be less than capital R. Then let us apply Gauss theorem now. Then E vector close integration E vector dot ds vector, this will be 1 by epsilon naught times. Let us think about the Gaussian surface. Gaussian surface is manung charge like charges reside only on the surface of the outer sphere, not inside the Gaussian surface. Gaussian surface is manung charge the q ki motor kaya lorni, this would be 0. Then obviously dot product expand your electric field will be 0. So this gives very significant result, which shows that inside any charge surface electric field is always 0. Right? Any charge surface amagi manungda electric field se 0 that is because electric charges reside only outside the surface, not inside. Aduna, this concept of electric field to be 0 inside the charged surface is being used in electrostatic shielding. Electrostatic shielding have a so it's electrostatic shielding means that an object which you want to prevent from being exposed to the electric field, you can keep it inside the charged surface. That is known as electrostatic shielding. So remember, any electric field inside a spherical, inside a charged surface should always be 0. Why? Because as I told you, charges reside only on the surface of the body. So these are the three conditions, and I hope you are clear about these three different conditions of the applications of the Gauss theorem. Now, let us imagine when you draw the graph between E and R, E versus R. What is E? Electric field due to the spherical cell, and R is the distance of measurement. Then, the nature of the graph, when you draw the graph between E and R, this E is plotted in this direction, R is plotted in this direction. Then let us imagine the sphere to be here and radius of the sphere is capital R, then the distance of measurement, this R will go on increasing. When R is 0, the point P will be inside, electric field will be 0, this will be here. When the point P is here, somewhere here, here or here, even then electric field will be 0. So when R is less than, small r is less than R, electric field will be always 0. Up to here, electric field will be 0. Okay, but when the point P lies on the surface, electric field, that means this point, let us say, this R is equal to capital R, then electric field will be suddenly rising like this. So E will be maximum here. E maximum will be here. Then when it goes outside, E is inversely proportional to distance square. That's why it will go on decreasing. And this will go like this. Okay, so this is the nature of the graph between electric field and the distance of measurement for a uniformly charged spherical cell. Okay.